Okay,
Nimetoka
guys.
kwa nini Pitboard?
Okay, guys. How you doing? Ace, the trouble man himself from the Pitboard. We are here live. Live reactions from the Qatar GP 2023 qualifications, and we are here to give our live reactions. Joined here by my ever so gracious co-hosts, Dan, the less troublesome, and
Yeah.
Mr. Nokap Muchiri. An interesting quali, guys. What do you guys think?
The two McLarens, they were demoted in Q3 because they exited track limit. And it happened in a funny way because, like for Piastri, he knew about his demotion while on an interview. Those podium, AMA 1, 2, 3 interviews, that's when he learned about his demotion. But
Yeah,
it
man,
is
that,
what
that
it is.
was that was really awkward. Because in the middle of the interview, he was
Yeah,
actually talking about how he could have maybe done a better lap. Then the lady, I've forgotten her name. There's this lady there's someone who we know who usually has a crush on her. In the middle of the interview, she was like, "Sorry, Piastri, you've been demoted to P6, but it was nice talking to you."
Taking
Like,
jabs,
what the F?
taking jabs, taking jabs, taking
That
jabs.
was really
Okay,
awkward.
so guys,
Yep.
we really had an interesting session this evening. One of the most I have to call it surprising because we haven't seen it this season so far. We had two Mercedeses in the top three in qualification, with George at P2 and Hamilton at P3, if I'm not wrong.
Yeah.
So, what do you make of it? A Mercedes back? Do we expect a proper Mercedes session come race day? Ama hii ilikuwa tu ile, a proper showing, then they come and
Yeah.
fumble the bag.
Yeah, I think pace wise, even from Q1 and Q2, and even in Q3, Mercedes were behind
Mhm.
the McLarens, to be honest. But they were ahead of
yeah.
the Ferraris. So I think they just inherited the P2 and the P3 after the penalties that were given to Norris. But Mercedes, and to be honest, if it weren't for the McLaren penalties, Mercedes would have taken P3 and maybe I think P5 or something. Quali. So I really don't think they have a fast car in quali. But again, we don't know what pace they're going to unleash um, tomorrow and Sunday. And to be honest,
Come race day.
actually thought Mercedes were really going to struggle this weekend because of the medium to high speed corners. And they've never had the most stable car.
You're not alone.
Yeah, so it was kind of
Yeah.
surprising to me. But hey, hats off to them. They have two cars in P2 and P3.
Yeah. Yeah, me too. I thought they would struggle. In practice, they never ran the soft tire.
Mm,
Even in Q1, they were on mediums. It's like they were finishing some practice laps before in Q1 before they
Q1,
started
yeah.
quali. So I even they struggle, but well, they came back. And the other person who surprised me most is Fernando Alonso. Me, I thought Aston Martin
Mm.
were done. Okay. We know Lance Stroll, something. He was really furious. We saw him getting out of the car, and even he pushed away his trainer. And also in the interview, we saw
Yeah.
him like that guy is like done with Formula One. He doesn't even want to answer questions. He's doing the bare minimum. So
Hey,
I don't
that's
know what's up with that. I don't know.
yeah.
Question for you guys as panelists on this conversation right now, and a question for the fans who will be listening in. We'd like to really get your sentiments on the comments. Do you think Lance Stroll should get a seat come 2024? Yeah, next year is 2024. Do you think Lance Stroll deserves a seat in Formula One in the 2024? How do I call it? Classification. Do you think he deserves a seat? That's a question to you guys and to the listeners. Please leave your comments down below.
Yeah. So first of all, F1, it's a sport that's purely based on merit. But the Lance Stroll situation it's a little bit funny because the father, Lawrence Stroll, owns the team. So it's it's really hard to put.
Nepotism.
I don't know what to call it. It's really hard to put deserve and Lance in one sentence in that team because um,
Yeah.
he's hit rock bottom. And I know that's a controversial take, but seeing as Muchiri was talking about, there's some aggression with his trainer, and also in the post quali interview was like, I don't give two birds at all. I'm just going to drive, and that to me that's rock bottom for a driver. I've never seen any driver uh, stoop that low. So to be honest, deserve no. I think they have a better reserve driver who probably wants to be who's yearning to be in that seat, and that's Felipe Dragovic. But then again, you can't put deserve and Lance in one sentence when the father Lawrence Stroll owns the team.
Okay,
Yeah.
Mushiri, your thoughts on that?
I have nothing to add. The only thing I see with Stroll is just frustration. And as you know, if you want to be a top driver, among the things that you should be able to contain is your emotions. It was not a good sight for, I'm sure even for the mechanics, for the team as a whole.
Yeah.
As much as things might be bad, it's always good to control your emotions.
So do you think of the lot, remember there is a battle going on for P2 in the standings because Red Bull have run away with it. They were crowned champions last weekend. So Ferrari, Mercedes, and McLaren are really gunning for P2. Do you think this is the weekend McLaren actually, haul the points and actually try and, seal the gap?
Yeah. Well, I don't think McLaren are in the fight for P2 because they need to beat Aston first of all. They need to catch up to Aston. Then they need to beat Ferrari and
Yeah.
Mercedes to at least get into the fight for P2.
Yeah.
But Lando and Piastri, they both seem to have a really good car this weekend, but they just couldn't beat.
They're looking like the dream team at the moment.
Yeah, that's a strong pairing. Compare, as in, it's here we're talking about someone who's seasoned
Yeah.
and a
They're looking
rookie.
like the dream team.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
But they couldn't beat.
Who's performing? A rookie who's
Yeah,
performing.
so they couldn't beat two people on track today. That's max and track limits. And I can give Piastri maybe some leeway or some room for mistakes to be made. But Lando, man, I think Q1 he had a lap time deleted. Yeah. Then also in Q3
Mhm.
he also had a lap time deleted. Like, come on, man. Yeah. And yeah, he's beating himself really hard. I don't know if you had the radio message, but it was a monologue and saying, "Why am I sometimes stupid?" I'm paraphrasing what he said. Um, but
It's Lando.
but if yeah, Lando, yeah. But if
this guy's
you see,
this guy's throwing shots
no,
indirectly.
no, no, that's what he said. Yeah. But the thing is, we've always known when you have such a tight Q3, you always make your first lap. You make a bunker lap. First of all, you make sure that you put in a proper lap.
Okay.
Then now the second time while you're doing your second lap, now you can now try to push. So I Lando the first one he did um in Q1 wasn't good. Lap time deleted. Then I think he had to wait until when I think we had like 3 minutes or something on the clock. That's when he went to do another lap. So maybe bad timing on Lando's side, and maybe that car frustration. Or you have a good car, you can actually put that car maybe in P2 or something, or maybe even fight or challenge for pole. But when you keep on having your lap times deleted, when you keep on making the same mistakes, track limits, it will bottle up to uh, a moment where you only have this one lap. It's a break or make moment, and unfortunately, this was it for Norris. So kidogo kidogo he was P2, and then his lap time got deleted and he dropped all the way I think to P10. So they have a decent car, but they really had a poor quality. Yeah.
Mushiri, you take on the situation.
Okay, McLaren were poised to do well in high speed corner track. So Silverstone, Luca, and Qatar. So for me, it's no surprise that they're doing well. So I expect them even to correct the mistake they did in quali in the race. Yeah, so it's for me, it's not a surprise. You know, we have been talking a lot about Perez and how he hasn't been performing well. Even Horner himself, if he said he doesn't understand why there's such a big gap between Perez and
Verstappen.
and Verstappen. So it's still baffling to us how Perez is struggling.
You can't really compare the qualifications of Perez and Verstappen because Verstappen has really made it clear he's on a league of his own this year, and we fully expect him to win the title tomorrow.
Yeah,
We fully expect him to win the title tomorrow. He only needs 3 points to win the title. Is it 3 points
yeah,
or something like
just three,
3 points? I'm not really
just
sure.
three.
But we have to talk about his counterpart, Sergio Perez, who, for some reason, can't really seem to, put the bad or the negative comments behind him. Aston Martin, they had a really good start of the year. They were looking really strong, but for some reason they had a stall in performances, and that stall began to look more like a decline. And remember, Aston Martin, sorry to say, only one driver has been delivering the results, and that is Fernando Alonso. Lance Stroll, we've just talked about him. He's been looking kind of, he's given up on the sport. But we have to talk about Fernando Alonso, his situation, and we really have to look into how he compares to Perez, because these are the guys Perez is actually matching up to in the RB19.
Um, Checo, Checo is the bane of my existence, to be honest. My expectation has always been Checo at least needs to qualify P2, and qualifying P2 means you need to beat Fernando Alonso in qualis and also come race day. So seeing him again being eliminated in Q2, and Alonso, someone who, to be honest, we didn't expect him or expect the car to perform this good at Qatar. It was a kind of surprise to see Alonso that high, but it was a
Yeah.
bigger surprise, as much as you expected it, but it was a bigger surprise to see Checo being eliminated in Q2 at this time in the year. Yeah.
Do you know the other surprise thing for this quali is it's the Alpines. You know, Alpines haven't been doing really well, but they are P7 and P8. I don't know where that came from because they haven't been. The last couple of races they were making at most Q2, but now both cars are in Q3. That was something else. That was unexpected for me.
Commendable.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That was
that,
really
They
commendable.
they introduced some updates, right? I think it was
it, it's
something.
only it's only it's only Alpha Tauri team starting with A. Alpha Tauri,
Yes,
Alfa Romeo, and
Alpine, Alpine.
And Alpine. Yeah, Alpine. They
Yeah,
did have
yeah,
some.
yeah. So they had some diffuser upgrade. They also had some track specific cooling louvers upgrades. Maybe that helped because the Alpines have been plagued with overheating. Remember Baku, Gasly, his guts were all over the
Mm.
place. Um, Even last year, Alpines again, their guts are all over the place. So maybe they introduce an update that's making them a bit more competitive at this particular track. But yeah, that was a surprise to see Ocon and Gasly up there. But again, I know this is another side story. I still think there's some
Yeah.
animosity between Gasly and Ocon after Suzuka. So I think we're still yet to see the falling out.
Reckon we do a special. Reckon we do a
No, no,
special.
no, because
Do a special.
it's you have some extra tea on Gasly and Ocon. I don't know who took whose. I don't know
Yeah.
what.
Can you guys take a
Hey,
wild
listen.
guess where Yuki qualified?
Yuki.
Even don't
Uh,
think too much
Yuki.
into it.
I know someone close to P11.
He was in Q2.
P11.
Q2. Yeah, he was in Q2.
Yeah,
Yeah, he was in Q2.
yeah.
He
Yeah,
was in Q2. I remember he was in Q2.
And
So
Yuki
yeah.
is
Yuki
always
qualified
close. He's
P11.
always
anyway,
close getting into top 10, man. I feel for my boy.
Yeah,
he's that guy. When it's just about to get there, like
Yeah,
when you're just about to get it,
yeah.
you know.
Hey, keep it PG. Keep it PG,
And
man.
I could feel for him.
and also Bottas got into Q3. That was
Ooh,
I think,
yeah,
yeah, I don't know.
Bro,
Maybe it's that track or what.
why are you dissing this guy? Why are you dissing this guy?
who
Who?
Bottas,
Bottas.
Yeah.
bro.
Who is dissing?
Do you remember the last time you even had
No, no, no.
Bottas?
Continue. Listen,
Yeah.
listen. Continue. Then I'll tell you why you're dissing him.
When was the last time you had Bottas being mentioned during race or during quali day? Apart from Bottas has been eliminated in Q1. When was the last time you had Bottas's name being mentioned?
And when is the last time
Mhm,
at Alpha Tauri?
mhm,
At Alpha Tauri, when was the last time he qualified to Q3? Q3 basically means he got into the top 10.
mhm.
Yeah. When is the last time Bottas got in the top 10 and finished in the top 10?
At Alfa Romeo, I I
At Alfa
I
Romeo?
don't recall.
Yeah, at Alfa Romeo. Yeah, at Alfa
Not
Romeo.
easier.
Every time he got into the top 10, he finished with a DNF or outside the top 15.
God
Yeah.
So
damn.
that's why I'm saying, why are you dissing this
God
guy?
damn Bottas.
Logan Sargent almost out qualified Albon, but Albon pipped him by, is it nine hundredth of a
I'm
second?
sorry.
Yeah, 900th of a second.
I'm I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Mushiri, and I'm sorry, Ramen. But we did say anytime we mention Logan Sargent, we'll have to play the
No, 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 no,
American
no,
theme
no,
song.
no,
So I'm also
no,
sorry to the editor.
no, no, no,
Tin
no, no,
tin
no, no.
tirin tin tirin tirin tirin
He tried.
tin tin tirin 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 tirin.
How can I mute this?
I'm
Yeah, but
I'm really sorry about that, but
yeah,
we have to.
yeah. Quick comment on Sargent. We've been seeing Albon out qualifying him and even outpacing him on Sunday, day in, day out, or race in, race out the entire season. So seeing him that close
Mhm.
uh, to Albon, and I think both of them have never raced here before.
Yeah, both the Williams.
Yeah,
Both the
both Albon and Logan. Yeah, they've never raced here before. So seeing Logan that close,
Yeah.
maybe he's getting his, I don't know, he's getting confidence. Maybe he's learnt a few things and he's doing things differently. But then again, qualifying won't earn you points. The race will earn you points. So if he can repeat the same tomorrow in the sprint shootout and maybe have a good sprint race and maybe Sunday have a good race, then um, I see him securing that 2024 seat at Williams. But at the moment, yeah, he's getting support. But I believe if he ends the season with 0 points, and maybe there's another rookie or there's another driver who Williams probably will be fancying around the corner, then I think this will be the last time we're seeing Logan uh, on the grid.
But me, I
Mm,
was somehow impressed with him because you see that turn four, the wind was like catching everybody and off guard, but
Mhm.
somehow we never had those track limit problems and everything. And that was the guy that usually like place our bets on who is going to crash, and he managed to keep it clean. So, kudos to him.
we have to talk about Ferrari and how they qualified. So, what were your thoughts? Let me start with Mushir. What were your thoughts on how Ferrari qualified?
Okay, I don't. I particularly don't like talking about Ferrari and qualifying because of what usually happens at the race. But uh, if you ask me, they are behind Mercedes and they are behind McLaren. So yeah, they somehow showing signs of that they have a decent car, but they're still behind Mercedes and McLaren. And I don't know how they are going to fare on during the race because if you ask me right now, I would say Mercedes have a better race car. Like if you compare if Mercedes in Suzuka qualified ahead of Ferrari, uh,
Mhm.
they would have no chance. But now you see Mercedes are ahead of Ferrari, so it, basically I'm putting them behind McLaren and Mercedes.
Okay, so as you may very well know, we have the sprint race tomorrow, and the sprint races actually do have an extra additional points for teams to fight for. And the teams fighting, or the teams gunning for P2 in the Constructors Championship, do really have something to fight for tomorrow. Uh, with the showing that has happened today, because today's showing will be seen on Sunday, because today's format will actually be represented on Sunday, when the qualifying of today is what will be the grid representation on Sunday. Do you think it's all out war for points come tomorrow with the sprint shootout and the sprint race,
It's always
Mushiri?
you're always going to battle. It's always every racing driver who goes there is trying to win. So it's always war. As I said, when you put on that
Yeah.
helmet, you're going to battle. I'm
Okay,
curious about
interesting.
George. I'm
Ramin,
curious about George and Hamilton, by the way. You know, they're together, and we have seen how. I'm curious to see what they have talked about or what they will do, because I'm sure now the team will be concerned with those two. I don't know if they'll be let to race or there'll be team orders, but those are
mhm,
the two guys I'm really watching out for. Come race day. When it comes to battle,
you me both, bro.
yeah.
You me both. You me both. So, Ramin, what are your takes on that? And what do you expect from Ferrari from the qualifying they've shown today? Do
Mhm.
you expect them to try and remember, these are the guys who are poised to be P2 at the start of the season, and they kind of messed it up, and Mercedes took that spot from them. They qualified behind the Mercedes, both Mercedeses and one McLaren, and let's not forget, these are the team, or this is the team that has been plagued with bad decisions come race day, the past 2 seasons. But for some reason, they have also garnered the most points in the last 3 races. What do you expect
Mhm.
from them
Yeah.
tomorrow in the sprint shootout and the sprint race from the showing they've given today?
Yeah. For me, Ferrari was the biggest shocker in today's quali. I was actually expecting Ferrari to beat both or the Mercedes, and also maybe be closer and maybe get closer to the McLarens. Both drivers had stinkers or during quali, so it's not really helping them in their battle for P2 in the Constructors Championship. And this is because Mercedes right now, according to me, they seem to have the upper hand to get the most points because they have secured P2 and P3 for Sunday's race. And the sprint race, you
Mhm.
don't get the full points. You get, I think number one gets like
Yeah,
10 points or something.
half.
It's yeah.
Yeah,
So even if
it's basically
Ferrari,
half of what the full race is.
yeah, so even if Ferrari maybe have a good sprint shootout tomorrow, which I don't think they'll have a good one because of Park Fami. The car and the setups are already locked in. So I think tomorrow again the Mercedes maybe might just out qualify them. So it's not really helping with Ferrari's momentum because as you said, they've scored the most points from the last 3 races. Yeah. So
Yeah, 3 races. That's from the time we came from the summer break.
summer break, yeah, yeah. So
Yeah.
so so it's not really helping this Ferrari momentum because they really need all the points that they can get until end of the season to not just catch up to Mercedes, but also pass Mercedes and secure P2. So I think tomorrow they'll go all out to get maximum points. But then again, the track has been resurfaced, so we also don't know how much tire deck will be overthink tomorrow for both Ferraris. So at the moment, it seems like Mercedes have the upper hand, and it's not really helping with the Ferraris fight against Mercedes for P2. Yeah.
That's our live reaction, or our post reaction to the quali for Qatar GP 2023. And we hope you guys like and enjoy what we've reacted. Comment, share, subscribe to the channel. Show some love. We also have some podcasts on Spotify. Follow at the Pitboard, on YouTube at the Pitboard, X, formerly Twitter, at the Pitboard, Instagram, and get some F1 content in your life. So that's it from us, guys.